Doing, I discovered that we can teach our children much more in schools, and I introduced a program called Behavior Change Program, which in itself was to teach skills, habits, and character. And I was amazed by the results. Always got feedback that the children learned more from the Behavior Change Program than the physics and mathematics I taught.
My name is Jeremy Baraka, a student of Asifio International Academy. I've been in the SEE curriculum ever since I was 4 years old. I'm now 12 years old in grade.
Grow up in a godly manner, and we have lessons of character first, whereby they enable children to be disciplined. The children grow up in a very good, they develop all the aspects of child growth, which are physical, emotional, spiritual, and intellectual growth.
With my vast experience in education, previously we used to struggle to motivate children to perform or to do their assignments. What I noticed critically in SEE is that the children are motivated because the learning responsibility is taken back to the child. The children set their own goals and they try as much as possible to achieve them. The beauty about SEE is that the responsibility of learning goes back to the child.
The Learning Center procedures have taught me so many things: how to be organized, follow the rules, and make sure that I complete my goals for the day.
It's so interesting, and we've gotten amazing experiences with the parents. For example, there is a parent one time who told us the child never liked school, and it was always a struggle for the child to wake up, come to school. By the time she made a decision to come to SEE, to join the curriculum of SEE, they noticed that the whole learning aspect changed, in that the child became self-motivated and they took responsibility of their own learning, they set goals. Everything was so amazing for the parents. There is another one with character, struggled with character, but that time the child joined Asifio International Academy. And remember, with SEE we have character lessons. The child changed from nowhere, and the parents were amazed with the good work that is happening in the SEE curriculum.
The private sector is not yet fully utilized because not everybody can be employed by government. And we are looking at a future whereby more people are employed in the private sector than in government. So I think if we all work hard, if we all work together and invest in the right areas, there's been a lot of talk about value addition in the agriculture sector, in the mineral sector. If there is enough investment in those areas, I think it can create enough jobs for our children and grandchildren.
Okay. Yeah. I just want to take you to question number 4, Andrew, which is, let's talk about your journey at City Hall and the foray into the Executive Director's office, which is as Andrew Chitaka,
Very interesting.
as well as the Director Engineering.
Very interesting. I joined KCCA on 1st November 2011. And before then I was
for so much.
Yes.
CEO of whatever.
Yes.
They give so much.
This is the reason why you're actually on the bench.
because of my credibility. Thank you so much. But now they attack you, they vilify you, and the goal is to weaken you financially, is to weaken your honor. These are slanderers. So I'm glad that someone would stay up at night to ask and learn about me. And I pray that in the next 2 months, because I know many Ugandans who travel overseas, when they go there, one of the things, because the media has been so much, and Sam Kutesa, the Minister of Foreign Affairs, has really not done a good job. He has dropped the ball on this issue. Why? So many of us are being accused of being gay killers, including me. You've just heard that person. Uganda is being accused that we kill gays, which actually is absolutely untrue. And because of this, it has affected our tourism. It affects people who go overseas to do work or study. It affects whenever you go to a conference. Hi, my name is Eddie Okiela. Where are you from? I'm from Uganda. Oh, you are the gay killers. And then you begin to describe. So one of the things that I've done is I've written a book, which should be coming out. I know that I keep saying the same thing, but the work of doing a book takes a long time, and I wish I could be supported. You know, many people who write on this subject, like Sylvia Tamale, she's supported by the Rockefeller Foundation, Carnegie Foundation. There is money.
Is a very big brand, and as we go on, we will probably discuss the things we're trying to do to see that things change for the better. Good. Sean, on the CEO bench, for everyone who is following, we're live on our YouTube studio where we actually streaming from. So YouTube studio, for everybody asking for a link, is actually House of Talent Uganda.
Confident in themselves and what they are offering. I think that's the biggest problem. Like, women will easily settle for a less pay than men would. Mona Onyeto Deke goes on to say, I think this is a comment, says, I didn't know that beauty products are taxed at 60%. Whoa. They are. I pray that changes soon, but they are. So with that challenge of 60%,
setting up the company, you're doing tours all across the world. You know, a personal account is great, but how these things are taxed becomes important for you know, for your business later on. As soon as you cross that threshold of 50 million a year, you know, you're now in the
interest become more shares.
Yes.
It is the CEO Bench. My name is Eddie Okiela, and my guest this morning or this afternoon from whichever part of the world that you are catching or watching the CEO Bench from is Jennifer Okusia of Bosco Uganda. She is the new executive director of Bosco Uganda, and of course the name Bosco is one of the most famous names in Uganda and in Africa. So welcome to the show and welcome to the CEO Bench discussion this morning. Jennifer, we'd like to take this moment to welcome you to the show. How are you, first of all?
Thank you. I'm really very well.
Great. So the name Bosco, it's a very famous name in Uganda. How did you guys come up with Bosco?
Actually, the name Bosco Uganda is an acronym that stands for Battery Operated System for Community Outreach. Okay. Yes, so it is a faith-based organization under the Archdiocese of Gulu. We are located in northern Uganda, in Gulu district, and it started in 2007, just at the time, just slightly after the end of the war. It started in a way to kind of connect the people in the northern region. If you know very well, that time, us who came from the north, it was very difficult to travel. Say from Makerere when I was a student, crossing over to the West Nile region. So it was really, really hard because of the war. In the park, it was always such, how do I say, very stressful moment. You always had fear because of the war that was going on. At that time, the rebels had abducted people. There were many people living in internally displaced camps. So, and there was kind of very little information coming from that side about the facts, what was really going on in the region. And the owners, the founders of Bosco Uganda, there is a priest called Father Joseph Okumu and a friend from the USA called Gus. They had the idea of establishing ICT centers within the camp, within the internally displaced people's camps, with the idea of connecting, the camps with the world, so that the people in the region are able to express themselves and tell their own stories, and also get to connect with the outside world, so that people get to see what is happening. And if you remember very well, the Archbishop, who is still the one, Archbishop Odama, that time children would sleep on the streets because it was not safe. And you remember the time when he joined them to sleep on the streets. Very young children, as old as 3 years, 4 years, had to leave their homes to come and sleep on the street. So there was a need to share information about what is going on in the region. And also, it was established in a way to enable people speak out about their lives, so that people get to understand really the situation in the context. So Bosco was established to kind of connect people from one camp to another. So the first connection was in Pabo camp, and then we thought of establishing additional camps, like additional sites in other camps. So using a voice over telephony system. And also I could say that Bosco and the founders were really visionary in a way that they started having wireless network connection already in the camps, that early. So what we are today is an organization that has now established about 54 ICT centers. These are information communication technology centers in communities, in the rural communities, basically to connect the unconnected, and the digital isolation, and enable people, using the internet to reach out to the world, access information. And Bosco does not only do connection in the communities, but also the organization supports other, NGOs, other organizations, and the Archdiocese, the institution of the Archdiocese, with connectivity. And it is a not-for-profit organization. It's a private, not-for-profit organization. So we don't do it for profit at all, but it is about the community and about extending services to the places where you find the main companies like MTN and others are not reaching, because the northern region, as you know, because of the war, fell behind on many development indicators. So access, even roads, are not very easy. So you find Bosco Uganda and its network, the wireless network, up to Pabo. You find it in Gago district. You find in really all the Acholi sub districts, and also in Lango. And we've also established some ICT centers in the West Nile. It expanded from connecting people towards also building skills of people, like basic skills on computer, so that people are able to use it, and work. And recently we did some interesting work with Lacho Hospital, trained a number of health workers, tutors, and today, as you know, with COVID, more than ever, digitalization is highly appreciated. It's the way to go, and Bosco continues to give people skills on basic computer and also connect them so that they're able to, reach out the world and do their work.
Wow. Jennifer, what a beautiful story right there. I want to take you back a little bit from a personal point of view. You've talked about Bosco. Now we understand that it's not the Bosco, the Katala of the city, but it's really the Bosco, the Katala of the village or of the community. That's the most important thing about it. I want to take you back to a more personal question. Who is Jennifer Okusia?
A simple lady. Humble lady. I am a Ugandan.
Yeah.
And I'm from Moyo district. My dad is from Moyo, and my mother was from Arua, so she was a Lubera. I'm a Madi. How do I say? I'm 41 years old. I look so young, but I'm 41 years old.
Yeah.
And I studied in Makerere University. I started from studying in Arua. Arua was my school time, primary school in Arua. Arua Hill Primary School, which now is hosting, I think they are setting up a football pitch there.
Yeah.
And then I studied Muni Girls Secondary School, wonderful school. And then I came to Makerere University. Yeah. So all my life I've been living up in the north in West Nile in Arua, and I studied development studies, bachelor's in development studies from Makerere University. Then after a few years, I did my postgraduate in business management, and then I did a master's with Uganda Matters University in development studies as well. Wow. So I'm a woman who, I would say I'm a development worker.
Yes.
Very passionate about social development and transformation of lives.
Wow. Yeah. Jennifer, you were nominated to come onto the CEO Bench. The program that you're on right now is called the CEO Bench. The CEO Bench exists to, you know, spotlight people who are on a good leadership journey from self-leadership to community leadership to national leadership and to, you know, infinity leadership, if that exists, which we know it does. Yeah. But the people who nominated you seems to have to believe that you're doing something good. And so whenever we have nomination to bring people to the CEO Bench, we're looking at their leadership abilities, we're looking at their level of change management, how do they manage change from one place to the next, because you're growing into ladder, and CEO Bench, you know, shine lights on people who are on the top, and those who are either on the top coming down, or those who are going to the top. You've recently been appointed as the new executive director of Bosco Uganda. And I guess that is the reason why there's spotlight on you at the moment. And on the CEO Bench, we want to know from you. We've asked you the question, who is Jennifer, and what is your story like as a person, growing up as a girl child from Arua, from Moyo? I mean, did you ever see yourself where you are today? What was the story like?
As I said before, I came from a humble family, a family of 5 people, 5 children. My father and a mother recently passed on. May God rest their soul in eternal peace. Yeah. But I grew up like many other young girls in this country who are from the countryside, not very advantaged with life. My mother was an ophthalmologist, and actually she's a mentor to me because she's one of the first people to come in Arua district in the 1990 to kind of give awareness about eyes, about the eye, you know, the cataracts, and she was able to, you know, operate people's eyes and they were able to see. So my mother was passionate about work, and some of the values I draw today are from my mother. Yeah. She was for me such a model because she really somehow kind of single-handedly raised us. Although I had a father, he was, you call him an electrical engineer. Yeah. And he kind of retired early. So in the early 94, my dad, for some reason, decided to get early retrenchment. So he left the burden of care to my mother. So my mother was raising nearly 5 children on her own. Yeah. I am the third born in the family. Yeah. I had a stepbrother, he's passed on. My elder sister is in police keeping mission now. Myself, and then 2 siblings, a boy and a girl, and then we had a cousin that was with me. But what I'm telling this story because as a mother, women, I'm relating so much to women and what they go through, families, what they go through. Yeah. So I had a mother who was doing everything she could do to raise nearly the children alone, although the husband was there. It was hard for us because I experienced also hardship, poverty, and I know what it means. Yeah. And one of them, I remember in the university we had a course called Poverty and Development. I didn't have to study it. I'm like, you know what, poverty. You
are the course itself.
I'm like, I am the course itself. So this one, no need to study. Yes, so I had to pass it very highly because I understood. Yeah. It was a tough life because, you know, civil service work, the payments, and it was hard to pay school fees for many children. So, well, In short, I had to stand out as a leader already as a child. Yeah. I was helping my mother in running her clinic that she was using to get some income. So when she's in the hospital, I would take care of the clinic and be like a nurse. So I started that actually by primary school and went on to secondary. But when I reached senior 6, I said, no, this is illegal. I can't do this. So it's a profession and you've got to become a nurse, you know, a doctor. And I had to leave it. But that in short, we had challenges as far as school fees is concerned. You know, a single parent really, I would say, not very easy to raise it. So, you know, when you're in school those days, you carry yourself as a lady, even on a bicycle. You carry yourself to school, fall on the way as you go with your luggage, but you come back. And so it was a struggle with school fees for us. But one thing that made me think already at that time, I was a leader in various settings. I was an active leader in the youth category, I would say. We had what they call the young Christian students. I was a leader right from secondary school, and I was the head of the section in the school. Even at the district, I was a publicity secretary. And eventually, when I came to Makerere, I was the vice national leader. So in this YCS, I'm saying it because there was so much values that we drew from being...
There's leadership
instilled in you. So we had so much values. Then we were really like, you know, you had to be, we had themes like models for change. The leader is, you know, you have to go to be a model for change. You know, there were so many values. So what we did was that even in school, you had to identify where are the problems and kind of, as students, try to resolve the problems within the school and outside. But I was also an UNSA chairperson in the school, and also in the district, I was also a leader. And so these things helped me a lot. And one thing that I knew that I said, in our family, you know, we were born on the other side, not very privileged like others, but you needed to work hard to be better. I knew that to be successful, you've got to work hard. And as a woman, I never believed in getting handouts for men or, you know, having a boyfriend or something as a short, you know, as a way of meeting your basic needs. It is very costly. So the only way out was education. And I really did believe, and up to today, I value so much education, that no matter what, education is the way out. And I knew that if I succeed, my siblings will not have to suffer. They had to get education. And that's what I did. As soon as I finished the university and got my first volunteer job as a lecturer, you know, I was never afraid of challenges because you had to face challenges and deal with them. So it built me up. I kind of became very strong, and there's nothing that I would be afraid of. And something that I drew from my early childhood, the motto of the schools, like the primary school. In Arohi, it was saying, I will try, come what may. And then, no, it was hard work pays, actually. Then in Munigals, it was, I will try, come what may. So there's nothing that can defeat you. So you pick up yourself and move. So for girls, I really do believe that even today, when you look at the context we are with COVID, and we hear so many cases of girls getting pregnant, I really want to speak to them that, you know, challenges are there in life, but you never give up. You've got to fight on and really believe in God. But what keeps us moving is that faith in God. When you have God in your heart and you really, really believe in the values that come from, you know, from your faith, it can move you to mountains. It can move mountains from your life, actually. You can actually overcome so much and be what you want to be. So I was a leader, I would say by default or whatever, but I was always in leadership. And I believe that for every problem, there is a solution. And there's no problem that is permanent. You can always overcome it.
Well, we're talking to Jennifer Okusia Erejo. We're yet to know the names that sounds from the eastern part of Uganda, but yet she's talking of the West Nile part of the country. Of course, the West Nile part of Uganda is a part of the country from the northern part of Uganda. If you're watching the show from anywhere across the world, it's a CEO Bench. My name is Eddie Okela. Jennifer Okusia Erejo is the new executive director of Bosco Uganda, an organization based out of the northern part of Uganda. 14 years of doing community work around, and she's been promoted to the executive director spot, and therefore the vote came to us to have her on the show. You've just had the first part of the interview with Jennifer, where we're talking about Who is Jennifer? What are you? You know, growing up, what did you want to be? What was it like? We're going to take a break, and when we come back, Jennifer and I will dive more into what excites her as we move towards the discussion about her role as a woman leader. Not just a woman leader, taking over from a sport that is usually men, and moreover in a Catholic church. What a story right there. Stay right there, I'll be right back after the break. Welcome back from that break. This is the CEO Bench. My name is Eddie Okela, and my guest this morning on the CEO Bench, or this night or this evening, depending on which part of the world you are actually watching the program from, is Jennifer Okusia Erejo. Jennifer, welcome back to the program.
Thank you.
First of all, let's talk about your name, the set of your names. One would think you hail from the eastern part of the country, where my friends who hail from that part keep saying that they come from the land of the wise men. The eastern part of Uganda is Teso. How did you acquire the name from Teso?
Actually, that name is not from Teso.
Yes.
But I always find whenever I say I'm Okusia, people think I'm from Teso. And I always get people greeting me in the language.
Yes.
And all I could, respond maybe with the response, and that's it. But it's actually named from West Nile.
From West Nile.
From Arua.
Yeah. What does it mean, by the way?
It means because of woman.
Because of woman. Okusia?
Yes.
Wow. And Erejo?
Erejo is actually my husband's name.
Okay. Is he also from the West Nile?
Yes, he's from Arua.
So this is just a coincidence that both of you have the names from, the northern part and the eastern part of the country. But welcome back. So now we know that Okusia means it's because of a woman.
Oh, woman, yes.
Wow. Jennifer, what excites you right now that you are a new executive director of this new organization? Let's dive into it briefly.
Thank you. Before I became an executive director, I was working with an organization called Horizon 3000. Yeah. An Austrian organization for development cooperation. I was working for many years with them, at least 13 years, and in the area of programming, like project development. So it was an amazing work to see what people are doing, plan with them projects that have big impacts on lives. So projects on water and sanitation, agriculture, and so on. And Bosco Uganda was one of the partner organizations of Horizon 3000. Yeah. I decided to leave. I was working in Kampala here, but I decided to go up north to the ground because I felt I needed to have better impact on the ground, kind of relate to the people on the ground and plan projects that actually transform lives. So what really is passionate for me is designing projects or interventions that really transform lives. And for an organization, of course, you're looking at ensuring their systems working, their structures. So I went to Bosco Uganda with the passion of supporting the organization to further grow, to look into their structures and systems and processes, and also to ensure that whatever we're doing to the communities will transform lives. Now, when you look at ICT, for instance, there's so much you can do beyond connectivity. If you look at the education sector right now, we have so many, my children have lost 2 years at home for staying at home.
Wow.
The lower level children, they have lost time. Now, what can you do? What can ICT do? What can you do to bridge the gap? And so we see that there is so much with ICT that we can actually do now to transform lives. I started from a rural school, and we had to sit national exams. With schools that have the privilege of power. We used that time. We used to use, this hurricane lamp. Yes. But you see the same national exams. But now with ICT, with government, things have changed. We now at least have connectivity, although not reaching to many rural places yet. With Bosco Uganda, I could see the opportunity of how ICT, their work can transform lives. Not only, by the way, they don't only do ICT, we also have solar. We do solar installations. There is one school called John Paul II, a secondary school in Gulu, that received the 30 kilowatt solar energy in partnership with Accenture and the University of Notre Dame. And that has transformed that school completely. they were off-grid, but now they have power. It means the learning hours for students has increased, teachers able to access information on the net. Bosco Uganda also supports network, the intranet system, so you can build, you know, an intranet where you can collaborate. So we partnership, for instance, with UNICEF. They established Colibri. They worked on the Colibri content and helped schools to access that. So more than ever now, with ICT, what excites me is that you can actually have education materials available in a school or even in a center, in an ICT center. So what we want to do as Bosco Uganda, in those centers that are already established, for instance, have content there so that even students who are at home, those who go from, you know, the day scholars, secondary school, can go to the library, to the ICT centers, and get education material, whether it is videography or do some research in the centers in the rural areas, because all those centers are powered with solar. So even if they're not having access to the national grid, they can still run, you know, on solar, because we establish low-powered, you know, computers and with solar backup. So it excites me so much to see the opportunity of what we can do, even especially now that schools are closed, that children can still access materials from these ICT centers, from even one of our ICT centers in Badege, which is in the Gulu city. You come in there and actually you can do your online learnings from there. And for me, that is so exciting. That's only in ICT, in education. But when you look at health as well, so much can be done to digitalize the health sector and improve, you know, on services, service delivery. So I just want to say in summary that there is so much that I saw that Bosco Uganda could do beyond what they were doing, like connectivity, build up more content and have this available in the rural areas. Network the ICT centers so that every centers in the rural areas, from Pade, Gulu, Kitgum, you know, they have the content and people can work there, have internet access, but have an intranet system where you can get data. I mean, get information, content, rich content that you on biology, on physics, even on mathematics. So this is what really excites me. And besides that also, I think I love working with people and as I said, transforming lives. I really want to see lives changed. Whatever we do, we must account for results, and starting from, say, the individual. If your program does not change lives.
Wow. Jennifer, we're going to go straight on that note to the leadership part of this interview. I mean, the program you're on, you know, focused on leadership, change management, and transformation. And you've touched a little bit there. So I want to go straight to leadership. Having heard you speak about what excites you in this new role that you are in right now, and it gives me an opportunity to ask a question. On the question of leadership, what is your understanding of true leadership, from self to leadership at family level, to leadership at community level, to leadership at where you are right now, which is the organizational level?
All right.
What is your understanding of leadership?
First of all, I do believe that everyone is a leader. And we are leaders in different capacities, right from home. Even we see children take up leadership. As I said, when I was young, I was supporting my parents to, you know, bring income at home and also to care for the others. In an early age, just as soon as I finished my university and I got a job, I had to take over responsibility to support the siblings to also get education. All of them got degree. I was the first graduate in the family. And I do believe even at family levels, when you see the husband and wife, you know, they always believe men are the heads of the family. But we've seen so many women do so much in the family, and it's not recognized. Leadership for me is when you recognize that you have something to offer, when you recognize you have passion to do something, you can inspire others, and you actually are committed to what you do and to the values that you have. I think for me that is leadership. So the values that carry you right from your childhood to your workplace and even to the society. It's not about how good you speak, it's about the things that you do. The things that you say you will do, and do you actually do them? Do you inspire people to go to greater heights? And another thing I think in leadership is about the transformation. Are you able to leave people behind in a better way? And that is important.
Wow. Well, we're talking to Jennifer Okusia Ereju. I need to get that name correct. She's the Executive Director of Bosco Uganda. Bosco Uganda is an international, or rather a local organization that is going international from Uganda, based in northern part of Uganda. It's been there for 14 years. She's been nominated as our guest on the CEO bench today. And I think that those who nominated her surely had the reason for their vote to bring her to the CEO bench. And Jennifer, we want to say thank you, because the things you speak about are quite very serious stuff. I want to take you to the next question. On that note that you have now talked to us about what leadership is, your understanding of leadership, who is a leader to you, and are you one? If yes, what type of a leader are you, Jennifer?
I am a leader, and I think a transformational leader.
Yes.
In the mix with a democratic kind of leadership. But I think, as I said, leadership is what you, when you believe you can do something, you stand out.
Yes.
You know, you stand out and do something. Like, as I said, in the early ages as a youth, you find there is need for something. You mobilize solutions. That is leadership for me. Yeah. You, like right now in the organization, you're looking at how do I put up systems and structures that would help the organization to function even beyond my existence. That is a good trait of a leader. A leader has to raise up other people. You must be visionary. That is something that I think is in any good leader. You must have a vision. You must be able to see the future and work towards that. Set up some goals and be able to achieve that. And as I said, for me, it's so important that whatever we're doing has to have an impact on people. And we must account for results. So as a leader, you must set up plans, you must set up, you know, what you want to change and be able to account for that.
Wow. Jennifer, on that note, I want to take you straight to this question. So, we now know you said you're a transformational leader. What type of a leader are you, or will you be at Bosco Uganda, now that you're going in as the freshest executive director? Moreover, the first female in that organization, taking over from people who have a huge portfolio. I mean, I look at the person that you're taking over from, and I realize that it's not just a simple role that you're going to take, but you're actually taking over a role that requires you to transform that organization and give meaningful lives to those who work in that organization, as well as the communities in that area, and Uganda as a country. Okay, so what kind of a leader will you be at Bosco Uganda?
A leader that values people and their contributions. Also, I think a leader who looks at, I like to work with people who are committed. In whatever we do, we have got to be committed. It's not about the money, it's not about the status, but it's about what we do, a servant leadership. So being on the ground and doing actually the work. I just came from a study that we're doing in the West Nile in the health sector to understand the challenges so that we work on a digital solution in partnership with Accenture, that is supporting JICA and the Ministry of Health, to look around the digitalization and finding solutions that would help improve information, how do I say, data collection and analysis and decision taking to actually support informed decision taking. And I think that is something I was on the ground. I was driving to some of the locations, the health centers, to be there and see them. So it's not about directing people, but I was on the field with the team, understanding and leading them through the challenges. We had so many challenges, but we had to go through. So you lead by action and lead by example. So for me, it's about being very true. There are values that you cherish, that you carry. Issues around honesty. I'm a very honest person, and I love facts. I love facts. I'm in my leadership, I'm looking at, you know, if you say we've done this, can we account for it? Are we truthful in what we say we have done? And can we actually prove that our activities make a difference? And can we distinguish what we're doing from other contribution and acknowledge what others are doing? So for me, accountability is very critical. Transparency in whatever we do is very, very important. And above all, how do I say, the values that we carry along, integrity, issues around the ethics, these are really very important. I want to see our interventions truly transform lives. If we're saying we're going to a school and support the school, what concretely can we get out? What can they say? What change have we brought to that school? You know, we would love to see people actually speak about that change. And not for us to speak for them and say, we did this actually, but people should be able to, you see, you carry the people along. I would say actually, for whatever intervention you're doing, put the people in the driving seat. So that the communities themselves are part of that intervention that you're coming up with. Even as an organization, you want to live, you want the organization to continue beyond you. So you're setting up a legacy that, how do I say, future generations will remember because of the things you did. Not the things that you say you will do, but actually what you did. So that is very important. And leadership should be accountable. And you've got to be truthful. You've got to be transparent in whatever you do. And that is very, very important for me. So that's what I bring in Bosco. I want the truth. I would love that whatever we say we have done can be provable. If you want to check it out, check our work.
Wow.
So that is important.
Wow. We are talking to Jennifer Okusia, the Executive Director of Bosco Uganda, right here on the CEO bench. And she's telling us about her leadership journey. Self-leadership for me is quite very important for a leader. And I think that Jennifer quite account for that effectively. And of course, we are talking to Jennifer about her role as the Executive Director at Bosco Uganda. Do you have a question for Jennifer? Do you see a lady who is on the rise to the top who is perfectly befitting of being on the CEO bench because she's a lady on the rise to the top? And we're going to take a break, but just before we take a break, Jennifer, I want to ask you one more question to, you know, sum up the leadership part, and then we'll come back and talk about change management and particularly the things that you want to do or you're going to do at Bosco Uganda. And my question on the leadership, to sum it up, is basically about what is your understanding of leadership at the personal level? Most people don't understand leadership at personal level. They don't know how to separate the two. They are stuck in one place, don't know what to move and how to move, but yet we're seeing Jennifer moving from one place to the next. And what is your understanding of leadership at the family level? Most people think that if you're personally very effective as a leader, you are going to be effective at the family level. And that is not true. Sometimes the family dynamics is different because it can break you down. For example, if you decide to go and there's a problem between you and Mr. Radio today and there's no understanding between the two of you, chances are that if personal effectiveness as a leader is not going to be seen at Bosco Uganda. How? What is your understanding of that? And we want to know, what is your understanding of leadership at a society level? There are dynamics that needs to be managed at that point. There are things that a leader needs to look at that point. You've talked about the quantifiable, justifiable, measurable metrics of a leader, that the impact should be seen. But we want to dive straight to understand, what is your understanding of that, as well as at the corporational level, which is where you are right now, and at the national level. There are dynamics that play in as you talk about transformation. Can you share and shed more light on that one?
Okay, thank you very much. At a personal level, I think it is, for me, it is again the values that you have and carrying those values with you. For instance, now I have raised up children, not only my own children, I've raised quite a number of children. I'm here for work, I've been out for a month, and they're managing. My children are managing, the elder ones are able to manage the younger ones without any issues. Young girls who are raised up right now and so assertive, they are so, I mean, I have no doubt about their capabilities. They're taking care of the little ones who are about 2 years, 3 years, 5 years, even in my absence. I think that's already an evidence of good leadership at the family level. Because for me, it's so important to impart values in people. And I see this in my children. I see this in the children, even those I've adopted. And they are carrying themselves with grace. You look at them and you see in schools, the feedback you get from the teachers about those girls, amazing. So these are young children, young youth who are already even taking responsibilities of mothers. They are caring for others. They are able to self-organize the families. Even in the absence, my absence at home, you know, a month away from home and everything is okay. That shows you that even at personal level, there is leadership. of course, at family, you have the husband and the wife.
Yes,
and
yes,
sometimes
yes.
the wife is very strong and vocal,
yes.
and the husband is a bit timid.
Yes.
But I think it's about understanding. And I am not really the kind of feminist people, like, you know, all these stereotypes about women and men. I really do believe about equity. You know, fairness in whatever we do, whether it's because of race or gender or religion. We've got to be fair to each other, and we want to see women and men, you know, receive equitable treatment. At the level of leadership at the organization, you want fairness, even for pay, you know, to female employees or male employees. Look at the competence of your people, look at the commitment of the people. It shouldn't be about because it's a woman or a man. For me, leadership is the character that you bring in, and it can be natural. You can harness the leadership as you go on. I can't say I'm an excellent CEO. You know, I am still starting. But I do believe in the values that will take me to where I want to be. The vision that I have for the organization, you know, and being able to have the right networks, associating with people who have similar understanding of what they want to do, even in the society, and that's it. At society level, we look at how to go with the communities. It's so important that whatever we do, communities own it. So you do not want to be, how do I say, a big talker and never an implementer. And that is why you see sometimes people who you hold very highly at a higher level because they hold very important positions. But when you get to know them personally, you're very disappointed because there seems to be a mismatch in the values that they carry right from home and there. So outside they may look so good, but internally at home they're having other kind of values. So for me, a leader, whether you are seen or not seen, are you doing the right thing? As a leader, you've got to do the right thing. You do the right thing whether people appreciate it or not. Take the tough decisions, even when others are not happy. But most important for me at organization, legacy, it is being able to raise other people and let other people, if you've left, if you are, I mean, raise other people so that when you go, there is no gap. You
and
get
Jennifer's
it.
Left.
Yes, and everybody
and
collapses.
Then everybody collapses, yes.
That is very important. You must carry people along. Give the people opportunity, give them higher tasks so that you're building up capabilities within your people. Give them tasks. Move to higher levels so that when you go, you don't hold on. I've seen that challenge sometimes with organizations when the people hold on and they don't give you the chance to be what you want to be. You have conflicted visions. It's so important because even leadership at the board level, how are you aligning yourself with the CEO to ensure that the systems that you're putting in place are working, putting in structures, and moving beyond an individual, how do I say this? Is it a structure?
Yes.
You know, the organizations that depend on individuals.
Yes.
It's very dangerous because it will collapse. It should be building systems and structures and internal processes that will help a system to function even without you. And that's what I stand for, and that's what I really believe on.
Wow.
And if I had the opportunity to get additional funding, I think there's so much that we can do. From what we've been doing in the study and seeing the gaps that are there, very sad. I have moved to the communities in the West Nile, nearly most of the districts, 12 districts of West Nile, and I have seen the challenges that women face, men face, from infrastructure issues in the health centers. They're very inadequate. I've looked at, you see you have a health center too, and by structure they're not supposed to offer deliveries. It's OPD. But some of the health centers are located in a very distant place. They are the oldest health center in the radius of over 10 kilometers or even 20. And people need services, they need health service. So when you see mothers are dying, it's because there's a gap in leadership. What can we do to ensure that we build up institutions, we build up structures, we build up systems that would meet the needs of our people, and that is very important. So whatever interventions we do, we've got to ensure that these are able to transform lives. So if I'm in the health sector, what can I do to change lives?
Wow. We're talking to Jennifer Okosia Erejo. I think is a very powerful woman, well set with all our goals, ready to go and conquer the world at Bosco, Uganda. This is not Bosco the Katala of the city of Kampala. This is Bosco the Katala of the city of the community in northern part of Uganda. We'll be right back after the break. This is the CEO Bench. It is the CEO Bench. My name is Eddie Okila and welcome back from that break. In the studio with me is the Executive Director of Bosco Uganda, an organization that deals in ICT management in rural areas in northern part of Uganda. 14 years of existence, and of course the executive director, the new executive director, the female taking over from a man in a Catholic organization is not an easy place to be. Jennifer, welcome back to the program.
Thank you. Thank you.
Before we went for a break, you were talking so much about you know, leadership and change management, leadership and transformation, leadership and the things that excite you and the things that you're going to do. I want to take you straight, Jennifer. Change management is our next part of the show, and then we'll go to transformation as we close the show. What is your understanding of change management, and which principles do you always apply when moving out from an organization? That's one. And how do you communicate it as well as manage the expectations to where you're going? Like